Empire with EUR Web. I saw the film and I am obsessed as a horror thriller fan. What drew you to the project?
I was offered the material by the producers who sort of had this great piece of IP, this really indelible image, right? Like everybody knows and feels something uncanny about these toy monkeys. Like it's something that's just like in the collective psyche as being kind of wrong in some way. So I was excited about the image, obviously, and then of course it's the fact that it's Stephen King and you have the opportunity to sort of align yourself with the great man. It just presents this really energized moment. And as people who our jobs are to sort of create out of nothing, if you give yourself all of these kind of head starts, an incredible image, an incredible author, you get a lot of confidence and a lot of sort of momentum, and that's worth a lot when you're facing the blank page.
That makes a lot of sense, and especially when you have an amazing actor like you, Theo. When I tell you, you had me laughing. Your character, when things were happening, screaming into the pillow instead of letting your son know what was happening, I was just cracking up. How did you bring those like nuances, one, to both characters?
Yeah, it was. I mean, they were written fruitfully. I'd known Oz before for a couple of years, so I knew how astute he was as a writer, and I was a fan of The Black Coast Daughter and other work that he had done. So I knew his style, but the comedy of it was something that I loved. And actually, we're going to the premiere tonight, and I haven't seen it. I've only seen it on a small screen. I haven't seen it with any friends or family. So I'm really excited to see it with an audience, because I think it's that kind of film where, gasping and laughing will be really fun to watch. Not that I'm good at watching myself. I'm usually vomiting in my own mouth. but I think with those characters that they're so diametrically opposed that you have the joy to play something very different. But at the same time, I wanted them to feel like they were brothers and there was some love beneath all the hate and toxicity. But it starts from the beginning of the day, really. You kind of come into work as one version of the character, and you're the more internal Hal, for example, and you come into work and as Bill, and you're just a crazy fuckwit.
Crazy indeed. And then obviously there is the monkey itself. Now there's the ending where, they're kind of leaving with the monkey. And my question is, how do we know that no one's going to be tempted to turn it?
Well, you
Because there's
don't.
We don't know.
psychological aspect.
We don't know anything. All we know is that they've accepted it. Right? They've accepted the essential lesson, which is that everybody dies, and that's life. And whether there's a monkey there or not, like that's the fun. That's sort of like the sober truth of the movie, is that you don't need a monkey to guarantee death. Like the monkey doesn't really do anything. So they're going to keep an eye on it, and they're going to own the reality that everybody dies.
Sarah, this is an honor, first off, because I worked at Pop TV during Schitt's Creek.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yes, so I have been following you for quite some time. So it's an honor
Gosh.
to speak with you.
Oh,
Um,
so nice to talk to you.
well, it's nice to talk to you. So when you got this script, what were your thoughts?
I thought this is insane.
Yeah.
It's a yes for
Yeah.
me, but this is insane. And I was actually not too aware of Oz's work before I even started this, because I'm not a huge horror fan. I mean, I am a fan, of course, but it's like too hard for me to watch horror movies
Yeah.
sometimes. So I tend to lean more towards comedy or like a rom-com. Um, but I was just so like flabbergasted by this script and by this part specifically, that I thought first of all, no one would ever see this coming for me.
Yeah.
Just even as an actor, it is such a stretch, that if anyone's giving me an opportunity to do this, I'm going to jump at it.
And the thing is, for me, you were unrecognizable. And then I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, it was her. I was like, you did so good. So one of the crazy parts for me was obviously the freak accident that happens to your character. Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh man, I mean, first of all, I'm so glad that I was unrecognizable because that was my hope. Like I wanted people to look at it and go, "Who is this? She sort of looks familiar, but who is it?" The death was such a, I hate to say joy, but it was like an odd joy because it was truly an experience that I've always wanted to have as an actor, to do just some horrible death in some a
Easy
crazy
way.
movie. And I mean, nothing sort of topped this. I hadn't seen a death like this in a very
Either.
long time. It just kept going and
Yeah.
going. And so I thought, I mean, just every aspect of this, and working with Oz, and the creative freedom that he gave me to just kind of go nuts, um and the special effects, hair and makeup, across the board, the entire crew on this movie was so wonderful. But I worked so closely with the hair and makeup team, special effects, and they made it so easy for me to just like lean in so hard to this, because I would look in the mirror and see like an unrecognizable face. And it was the best.
Christian, I am so excited to talk to you. You did so good in the film that I didn't even realize that you were playing both of the kids. No, seriously, I looked it up later and I was like, wait, you played both? They were so distinct. How did you navigate that?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a lot easier if I had an identical twin.
Yeah.
But I'm very grateful to, it was one of my dreams to be able to play two characters. And I mean, yeah, Hal and Bill, they're just polar opposites. Like, Hal's this shy, timid kid who gets bullied, and Bill is this overcompensating, overreaching, overconfident. You can add over to anything, and it's Bill. Yeah, so north and south, east and west, polar opposites, and collaborating with Osgood Perkins and Theo James, adding nuance and trait to these characters really brought them alive, along with the hair and costumes. Everyone killed it on that project, and I'm so grateful for all the help and collaboration that I received.
Yeah, and I mean, talking about the costumes, all of that, the dialogue, the comedic moments. What was the audition process like for you?
It was just it was a regular self tape, and Oz loved it, and we had a good chat, and it it really drew me in.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that I got to play two characters, I had to audition for both of them, like
Oh,
in one scene, which was really cool.
wow.
So very unique auditioning process, and I'm very grateful that I mean, Oz, when he casts everyone, he puts a level of trust and faith in them that I'm so grateful that he has in me. So, yeah, along with the talented cast, I'm very grateful.
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, it's going to really, audiences are going to be shocked. There's a lot of gruesome, shocking moments. Can you tell me which one was your favorite?
Picking a favorite out of these
Yeah, I know
would
there's so
be
many.
would be impossible because there are just thousands, like, okay, well, not thousands, but there's a lot of deaths in this movie. But I think a really iconic one that definitely stands out is the death of babysitter Annie at the hibachi grill, when the chef is just clanging his knives and her just goes bye bye and rolls on the grill. That right there sets the tone for the whole movie. And now once you've seen that, you know what you're getting into and you know what you're in for. And I think that right there is one of the most iconic deaths of the movie. So yeah, for sure.
I love it. And one last question. What are you hoping that viewers are going to get from this film?
So I think there is definitely a universal message in the monkey. Besides going into the movie for like the best night of your life, this one of a kind, crazy masterpiece that Oz and everyone created, there is a universal message, I think, which is finding laughter and humor in the darkest of times. Because really, in The Monkey, you are laughing at people dying. So think about that. Let that sink in. But I think that there is a great message there. And I do think that at the end of the day, you're gonna come out of the movie laughing your butt off and just being a changed person from what you've seen. Like it sticks with you. It really sticks with you the deaths that you see because they are just out of this world crazy.
Hey, Colin, how are you?
Scar, I'm good. How are you?
Good. So you play a really exciting character in this, and I feel like there's a lot of daddy issues kind of at the core of this. How did you approach it?
Um, well, when I first read the script, I noticed that there was like a lot of the adults were almost like exaggerated in that they sort of don't say what's on their minds and are sort of repressed. Um, and so I think Petey was really a really nice character to play because he um brings up a lot of things that the adults in the film are too afraid to say. Like Hal, for example, he repressed his guilt about his son. And he doesn't let him get away with that. He doesn't let him get away with pretending everything's normal. He points it out. And that
Yeah.
makes Hal uncomfortable. And so it was really cool to play a character that was so outside of the norm within the film. Um, and I really feel really lucky because I feel like it was really well balanced. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. So you have Theo as your dad, but then you also have Elijah Wood. What was that like being around such, top tier father figures in this film for you?
Well, when it's funny when we filmed the scene with Elijah, a couple days before they had someone else cast
Oh,
for Ted, the dad. And Elijah was going to be in town for Comic-Con in Vancouver, and they sent him the script, and he loved it, and he wanted to be part of it. So within the last couple of days, they got, the poster boards, the books, so he could be his, dad, um, guru self, and he was hilarious. He was really funny. And that scene actually changed a lot as we worked it, but yeah, I was really nervous around Elijah at first, but I sort of realized that he was really down to earth off camera, and it's very funny. I was not expecting him to be that funny. Yeah.
yeah. No, and your character is I feel like there's kind of like that dry humor. So there's a lot of freak accidents that happen from the film. What is your favorite freak accident that happened?
Oh, good question. Um, I saw a couple offset or off camera. There
Hmm.
were a couple times where I stayed longer because I wanted to see like the SFX and behind the scenes. Um, but my favorite was probably the one where the lady dives into the pool where
Yeah.
she blows up. I don't know if you saw that in the trailer, but like the AC unit comes off and it electrifies the pool and she blows up.
Yeah.
And they actually had like a charge um that blew up and they had like a bunch of gore around
Wow.
it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
really cool. Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it, so it was a really cool experience.
Listen, I have kind of followed your career. You've already done, horror. This is kind of a new horror psychological twist. Can you talk a little bit about your character?
Yeah. So in The Monkey, I play a young man named Ricky. We called him Thrasher because of the skater element. Yeah, so Ricky is sort of this disenfranchised, abandoned boy in town who stumbles across the monkey at a yard sale and is taken with it in a way that he believes he can telecommunicate or it's speaking to him.
Yeah.
And there's an obsession that builds, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, no, I loved it. And like you were saying, the kind of obsession. So how did you approach this role?
It's funny. I tried so hard to fall in love with a toy monkey. That was basically most of my prep was thinking about how do I genuinely fall for a toy monkey.
And was that really hard?
Yeah, well, it's a beautiful monkey, but you got to get to know it, and I
Yeah.
did, and hopefully it worked.